TV.
/
Sailing with Bernard.
There you go. And I'm
Jack.
So we thought we'd do a little stream. Mariana's holding the camera. I'm going to take it from her and switch it around, and now she has to talk.
Oh, hey, everyone. We can't stream this weekend because we're going to travel to see some friends. So we thought we would try to squeeze in a stream right now, real fast, before we leave. Jack's going to do some work in the aft cabin to move the inverter panel into the actual engine room.
And then eventually the chart table.
But he can explain better what he's doing and why.
And then Mariana has to help me.
And I will help you.
Because I have to get cables. So we
Just
might want to throw away.
I think with the new, we got a media mod for the GoPro, which is exciting. But the microphone, which is better quality, is more directional now, I think.
Are you sure? Oh,
yes.
Really?
So I had to select either front or back camera. So it's on the front or back microphone. So it's on the front microphone. So when you talk, I'm sure if you're close enough to the camera, it doesn't matter, but just as an FYI.
Cool. So we have some stinky trash I need Mariana to move.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that.
Yeah.
And then I was explaining to Mariana, she's like, we should record because the explanation is half the fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to get in the engine room or just get the engine room available.
Yeah.
It's pretty available at the moment. And what we're gonna do is over here, which is the aft cabin. So let me see if I can do this. There we go. And this, there we go. Look at that multimedia mount. So here in the aft cabin, it's a little tight, a little small. It's probably about like 6-foot berths on each side, on this side and that side. Also, I guess I should explain what else is in here. This is the steering quadrant. So inside of here is the rudder shaft. This is the top of the rudder shaft and the quadrant itself. The quadrant runs stainless steel wire through both sides into the lazarette and to the left and right, but I think mainly just the left. It goes around a I guess a block, but it's kind of a really big wire block. A really big wire block, and then is fed through the port side here. These are the steering wires, and they go all the way to the quadrant, which we will show, I guess, once we're in the engine room. Then it goes up to a spindle at the top of the helm, where there is a chain and tooth gear with a, I think it's actually like a motorcycle chain.
Trash smells fine.
Trash smells fine?
Yeah.
So something else is stinky. Smelly sink. And then goes up around, back down, is fed all the way through mechanically to the rudder shaft, which is above the water line technically, which is why it doesn't leak. There's a little bit of grease inside, some other greasing stuff, and then the quadrant. The quadrant is also connected to that, which is I believe a 30 or 50,000 pound hydraulic ram that is run off the batteries and its own hydraulic pump to steer the boat using the autopilot. We hope to eventually switch that up because it uses a lot of electricity and it doesn't account for wind angle because it's an old system. Rather than upgrade the system, keep the working system because everything back here works really fine and is installed very well, and instead put on the hydrovane, which will allow us to sail to the wind angle as well as using no electricity, which is the
ideal
point. Yeah, which is the ideal way to sail. Also gives us an auxiliary rudder that will be definitely streamed in the future and will take a day or two, maybe the whole weekend. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, so look forward to our future streams. Installing a hydrovane.
So in here, in this little bay here is a couple of things. That doesn't help at all. Is a couple of things. Starting up here is where we receive 30 amp from the shore. So that's a 30 amp breaker. I believe it's 120 volts, 30 amps. A lot of juice that's used or was used in the past and is still used to charge the batteries and run the inverter. This inverter is a Magnum 2000 watt, I believe it's a pure sine wave inverter. Actually, it's on the top. It's probably pure sine wave inverter. Probably 2,000 months. Order here, yeah. Anyway, 2020. It's about. I don't think it's 2020, is it? It might be 2020. This thing might be 4 years old.
It's 2024, Jack.
I know, but this thing might be 4 years old, which is actually older than I thought. Anyway, I had to replace the old one and stopped working. This one does inverting and charging, so it allows the boat's 120-volt system to pull power from 12-volt DC battery bank, as well as charging off of the onboard or the shore 30-amp power to the battery bank, and can run both at the same time.
I'm noticing our autopilot steering reservoir is low, actually.
It's at min. It's not that low. It's a little low. I think it just evaporates over time.
Yeah, just saying.
I have never had to refill that.
Well, luckily
so
there's
a whole
hydraulic fluid
right next to it.
So
that's perfect.
Easy.
So then the next thing is, or the future, what we did was this, which is the, let's see if we can get that. It's kind of like that. That is a 40 amp Renogy MPPT solar charger. What that does, and what we have done here, is wire the twin, there's two 220 watt bifacial Renogy solar panels that are wired in parallel, because it's a 12-volt system, so I don't really need the voltage since they're like 18-volt panels, and it allows for a little bit of shading or redundancy. So if one panel gets full shade from like the boom or something like that, then the second panel can still produce and put in the voltage required. Right now, if we go on the app, on a very sunny day, the entire system is 440 watts, and right now we are producing, this app, all this will get talked about soon. We are currently producing almost 400 watts, which with kind of solar technology is very, very high. That's very good. You know, 440 watts maximum potential, 400 watts on a sunny day in March is really good. Part of that's because of how we have the panels angled. So when we installed the panels, we put this stainless steel tube across the top and had to cut that, do that, wired all the panels both sides, and then made little feet and little socks for the feet, I guess.
Yeah,
is pretty cute. They're kind of socks for the
cute.
For those. I'll have Mariana show you around them, and they allow us to tilt the panels port and starboard at a range of degrees. They also come out and allow the panels to go flush vertically with the hull, so that we can secure them while sailing. And
so we made these little guys. These are just like little umbrella pockets, essentially, for these to rest in. So we just sewed those up real quick with some extra umbrella that we had from other canvas projects.
You sewed it up real quick. It took me
Jack sewed it. He sewed two in about
2 hours.
An hour and a half.
All right.
It didn't take you 2 hours. And then he went out to use those, and I was like, I can make 2 more for you real fast. And
in like 15 minutes.
But I do a lot more sewing.
We figured it out.
Also, yeah, Jack made the template. So
anyway.
He loosened it, is what we're getting. He loosened it for me.
So anyway, I'll take that back. Anyway, what we thought we could do real quick, which is something I've been meaning to do, is soon we will be getting new batteries, as well as a 12-volt to 12-volt DC charger, because the alternator on the boat currently doesn't charge or won't be able to charge a brand new lithium style pack. Thankfully, our charge controller or shore charger and inverter can charge lithium, and the Renogy system can charge lithium, so that is good. We're going to put a new 300 amp smart shunt from Renogy, so we'll have a whole Renogy system, including the Renogy Core 1, which looks like a Google Nest thermostat, and will give us all the charging information and battery information we could want, which is good when you're trying to manage systems. Speaking of managing systems, what is next is, or what we're trying to do here is, this was installed years and years ago. I haven't really had to do much with it other than just let it run. So what I ended up doing at the time was saying, oh, I'll just wire up the inverter slash charger later, which is this. This is a little panel from Magnum. It gives you the ability to turn on and off your inverter, turn on and off your charger, as well as do a couple other settings. I don't have any other real smart devices, so it doesn't know how many amps are coming in or leaving, but that's okay for right now because we're gonna go with a different system. What this will just be used for is pretty much shore power charging and inverting, which is important. So what I need to do is feed it from the aft cabin and feed it towards and eventually to the nav station. I think when I rewire the old batteries for new batteries, I'll get rid of some cabling as well as some devices that we're not being used anymore. So we'll unrun those cables, which will give me space in the conduit, because the conduit's like a 2-inch conduit that's just cram packed of different cables, half of which we are slowly replacing over time with remote devices. I guess the reason for that, and the funny thing with that, is that you might say, like, or people like to say, like, oh, if you're doing Bluetooth or whatever, like, it's less reliable. It's like, well, the Bluetooth standard can run like 100 devices right next to each other, so there's no problem with that. And also, like, well, what happens if it gets wet? And you're like, well, if the shunt gets wet, that means the batteries are underwater, or the batteries are getting wet, which is a bigger problem. So there's always like these things of like,
so you're not really worried.
Yeah, I'm not worried about how much voltage we have if if it's sinking, and it's more of just a monitoring thing. You know, if there's such an issue where I need to know this, it's whatever.
Sorry, this is off topic, but if anyone's been following our story from our last stream, or 2 streams ago, of us drilling out the deck, I have a suspicion this is exactly what is on the deck. Exactly this. Because I think when I was dremeling it, it was like definitely a harder top layer. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's just this under a layer of like...
I'm gonna say it's probably not.
I bet you it is.
I bet you it's wood. I don't think it's that wood. Because Casey did that 10 years ago. That's only 10 years old. The thing we're working with is 50
I was like,
years old.
oh, eureka.
Yeah.
But okay.
So these are the mounting plates, or the backing plates for the traveler system, which I want to undo and put in 2 rings still.
Yeah. But one project
at a time. Just because I don't like these. But anyway, I'm going to send you with Mariana now into the engine room, where she can explain everything in the engine room.
I cannot. So what is, you're going to hand a wire to me, essentially? All right, let's go to the engine room, boys and girls. All right, so we're going to go through companionway. Yes.
Oh, okay. So we got like 10 minutes and then
Yeah, we'll do this quick. So the engine room's here. It's actually just like kind of next to the sink. It's a little hobbit hole. So we'll go ahead in here. And Jack's gonna feed in. There is a light in here that may or may not assist, but I'm working on it. It kind of helped. So there's the little wire from Jack. Thank you, Jack. Do you want me to pull all of this?
Yeah, it's gonna take me a second to like untangle it, I'm sure. So.
Okay.
Actually, I need it back.
Okay, you can have it. So yeah, this is the engine room. Here's all our batteries. And it's called the engine room because there's the engine. Ta-da! It is in Mercury OM 636 1.7 liter, I think, diesel engine. Naturally aspirated. I don't know, I'm just saying things. Jack can't hear me. Am I right?
Is it what?
Naturally aspirated?
Yes.
Alright, that's a thing people say about engines.
There you go.
Thank you. I don't really.
Your father made you change oil.
That's true. I don't know anything about diesel engines.
Keep going. You're going to just take this whole spool pretty much.
Okay.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Hold on, wait. Alright, keep going. Keep going. Stop. Hold on. Alright, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
on this cable here. I realize that's kind of in the way of everything. This is the steering cables, so they're connected to the all the way down and underneath here, which is right underneath like the binnacle, which is in the cockpit, connected to the helm, the steering wheel.
Alright, that's
what
it.
these are. Turn the rudder.
And if you just want to run that cable out here for now, you can plug this in out here.
Okay. There you go.
Jesus. Alright.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, engine room.
And we're gonna
Kill the
run
light.
this eventually underneath and turn it on and power it up and shut it off.
Did you turn it on?
I am. Look, wow, it's a cable. It powers this thing. Jesus, is it windy?
Yeah.
Current inverting, 13 volts. So when we leave, I'll turn off the inverter. That will pretty much
Is that staying out there?
Huh?
Is that staying out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll turn off the inverter. That'll pretty much just end up turning off the internet, and then we'll just not turn that on over the weekend because we don't need it. But don't do that yet. Don't peel the plastic. I love leaving the plastic
I
on.
hate it.
All right.
All right.
That was it.
So that's it for today. Sorry for the really quick stream, but that's the best we could do. But hopefully that was still interesting. So yeah, we're doing a lot of work probably coming up on the electrical systems because like Jack said, we're going to replace the batteries, which is not exactly a 1-for-1 swap. So if you're into that side of things, the electrical system side of things, there's a lot of good content coming up for that. That Jack will.
Kevin's permission to.
Yeah, we'll have our electrician come help us and see if he wants to be on stream or not. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So hope that was fun. Thanks for tuning in if you're here, and we'll see you later. I gotta figure out how to end the stream remotely. Stand by.